It's absolutely a pleasure to be able to welcome you to our Innovation Challenge. This is the second day of the challenge, and we're excited to have the mighty uh, Portland metropolitan area TriMet here. And so you all have just been tremendous participants in the program and just have had a fabulous team. So with that, I am going to move this on, and it gives me a great pleasure to introduce the members of the TriMet team. And we appreciate the fact that Cole, that one of your members who has been a hard worker, okay, I'm going to start off with him, but we knew that he was not going to be able to be present today. Cole Bridges is originally from San Diego, California. He's now based in Oregon. He earned a Bachelor of Science in Psychology from the University of Oregon with minors in business, sports business, and music. And he actually began his career recruiting and coordinating for a medical technology company. So he's got a lot of experience in the human resources area, and although, and particularly where it comes to entry level positions, okay, which will become even more apparent as you go through your conversation as to the alignment. But he's not able to attend today, but he does, due to a personal trip, but he does send all of his yay, okay, to the TriMet team, to his partners in the TriMet team. Emily Ayala, okay, who's a current associate recruiter at TriMet. She's been with the agency for just over a year, and her primary focus is recruiting bus operators, which most of you know is really the most populous position that we have in the public transportation sector. And that's provided her with just tremendous, invaluable experience in high volume recruitment and collaboration with organized labor and predominantly amalgamated transportation union and transport workers union when you're talking about public transportation in the United States and actually in Canada as well. And she grew up using public transportation, and so she understands its vital role in serving communities, especially when it's well funded and effectively managed. And she's proud to represent TriMet and contribute to the mission of both TriMet and the IA mission, in terms of which are aligned in terms of doing the best that we can to make sure that we respect the fact that our people are our greatest asset. And then Gabriella Godinez, I hope I have that correctly, began her career at TriMet over 2 years ago as an intern. We're hearing some themes in some of the presentations in teams as we've gone through, and now serves as an associate recruiter in the talent management department. In her current role, she supports recruitment efforts for bus and light rail operators and also helps to coordinate the agency's internship programs. Gabriella brings a strong commitment to public transit and workforce development, and she's just ideal for this particular program and particularly for the topic that has been selected. And then last but not least, we have Eleanor Dehe. I hope I got that correct. Okay. And Eleanor has worked at TriMet for 3.5 years as a recruiter. She originally moved to Portland to attend college and ended up staying for TriMet. So, as a lifelong transit union user, Eleanor takes the bus and Max to get to and from work and for her daily commuting and her errands. And lately, she's been taking the bus to her evening kickball games. Okay. And so that is our TriMet team. Before we move into your 3-minute presentation, I do want to acknowledge our national judges. And we've done the full-blown uh, discussion of their amplification in terms of their backgrounds in the prior session. So let me simply say it was absolutely a pleasure to have Leslie Rogers, who is the chair, and this is the second time he's been the chair of our National Judges Committee. He brings over 40 years of transportation to this role that he has, and more than 40, about 40 of them were with the Federal Transit Administration, and he was in various capacities across the country. But the last 25 years, you all will know him well. He was the Region 9 administrator with over $2.5 billion regularly of contracts going on at one point in time or another with the grant recipients, which covered, I think it's about 8 or 9 states, and a $20 billion portfolio in terms of public transportation projects across the country. So he brings extensive knowledge to the table. Dr. Jamal Scobie. Dr. Scobie is a principal manager at the National Academies of Sciences Transportation Research Board. He's been in the business for over 20 years. He has extensive experience, public and private, as well as a little bit of nonprofit. A real focus in terms of planning and equity. He's done probably over 100 equity projects in the United States in different communities, and is a frequent contributor on best practices in numerous conferences and sessions. And Grace Almeida, Grace is here, and he's here from Washington, D.C. area, I guess virtually, this is what we would say. Grace Almeida, Grace is out of Minneapolis, St. Paul. She works at the transit system there, brings extensive experience to the area. She's predominantly her focus has been in hands-on planning. And so she's much more into the scheduling point, very much aligned with this conversation, a service planning area, but also extremely, an extremely tremendous contributor to them in the area of sustainability. Okay. And actually, you all had an award, I believe, at your agency not too long ago from Federal Transit Administration, a recognition of being one of the most transformative agencies in that area in terms of sustainability. And then we have Jose Ramirez. Jose is another one of these click the boxes, started out as an intern. He is at LA Metro. He's a first generation Latino, absolutely focused in terms of the criticality of transportation, in terms of people and communities and outcomes. And he's moved from being an intern to actually managing. He's a human resources manager with an extensive portfolio at LA Metro, including some very unique leadership academy, leadership succession planning, and then the day-to-day in terms of their regular programming on the human resources training area. So we're delighted to have Jose here, and then also AC Transit. Our contributor there is Justin Augustine. Justin brings about 13 years to the table, a very unique blend of human resources, but community engagement, and noted for project management expertise, and they're doing some amazing things at Alameda Contra Costa in the Oakland area. In fact, received a recent FTA award for a university which is full of all new technology and everything that they've been focusing on for some time in terms of the bus of the future and bringing AI and the different technologies into the actual training space. So I don't think I've left anyone out. That's our portfolio in terms of the national judges. And so now it gives me great pleasure to move into the next part, which is really what it's all about. It's you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So our project is called The Future of Transit. We're part of the talent acquisition team at TriMet, and our focus for this project is on tackling current workforce shortages in our own agency and in the transportation sector. We're especially committed to workforce development with an emphasis on attracting and developing future maintenance workers. We're excited to share our insights and strategies with you today as we look ahead to building a stronger, more resilient transit workforce for the future. Emily, next slide, please.
Okay, well, Dr. Scott kind of beat us to the punch and you were super thorough, so I won't go through all of this, but this is our team. Like Gabby said, we're all recruiters here at TriMet, and we tend to be kind of separated into our little pods of, maintenance and high volume recruiting and operators and other areas. So this project has been really nice for us just to kind of work together, and it's a good excuse for us to do something together for once. So next slide, please.
Well, I'm just going to give a little bit of background on TriMet. TriMet is a public transportation agency serving the Portland, Oregon metro area. It operates bus, Max Light Rail, and West Commuter Rail services, along with paratransit options for riders with disabilities. TriMet was established in 1969 by the Oregon legislature as a special purpose agency. While it is not a traditional government department, it is a publicly funded and publicly accountable entity governed by a board of directors appointed by the governor of Oregon. TriMet serves communities across Multnomah, Washington, and Clackamas counties, covering a service area of 533 square miles, about the size of Nashville, Tennessee. Next slide, please, Emily. As we look ahead, the future of transit is being shaped by rapid advancements in technology, sustainability, and workforce needs. And TriMet is no exception. TriMet is increasingly embracing advanced fuel technologies and zero emission vehicles as part of its commitment to a more sustainable transit system. We're also seeing a growing reliance on data and technology to improve service efficiency, reliability, and safety. But this future also requires diverse perspective, fresh ideas, and continued innovation to meet the needs of an evolving and inclusive community. One key area that often gets overlooked but is absolutely essential is maintenance. As TriMet modernizes its fleet and infrastructure, maintenance will play a critical role in keeping the system running safely, efficiently, and sustainable. Next slide, please.
Okay, so I will be talking about our high school internship program. One of my favorite parts of my job at TriMet is I co-run our internship program, and we've been doing that for 3 years now, but it is geared towards college students. And so you have to be like a college junior or kind of post-grad to be a part of that program. And we've had a lot of success with it, but it does mean that we have been kind of missing the early demographic of like people who are just graduating high school or people who aren't going to college. And so we wanted to really capture, like 18, 19, 20-year-olds who were just now getting out into the workforce so that we can bring them in and kind of create a talent pipeline for those maintenance jobs that Gabby was talking about. So we kind of the goal of the program is really to get those interns in early on and to show them what jobs are available at TriMet, because a lot of people tend to think of TriMet as just bus operators. I know when I tell people that I work for TriMet, they say, "Oh, so you drive a bus?" And they think that's the only job that there is. And so we want to get people in fresh out of high school, get them started as interns, and then kind of develop them over the next couple of years, first as interns, then as our kind of entry-level maintenance jobs, and then into apprentice and specialized roles. And so that's what kind of the goal of the internship program is. Emily, next slide, please. Thank you. So like I said, the goal is to really create that talent pipeline. We want to focus on kind of early talents that we can then kind of grow and develop them and show them what opportunities are available. So what we've kind of been doing so far for the high school internship program is visiting various kind of technical schools in the area. We've been visiting a lot of our local high schools, and we talk about just kind of TriMet career opportunities, what the jobs actually are, which maintenance positions we have, which kind of entry-level roles we have, how our trainings programs work, different just kind of opportunities that students can take once they're right out of high school and ready to start looking for the next step in their career. We also talk about just the benefits of the public sector, kind of the earning potential that you have starting out right at the beginning of your career and where that can kind of take you over the next 5, 10 years, etc. We have been focusing specifically on our maintenance roles for this high school internship program, because those are kind of the most entry-level roles that a recent high school graduate could realistically kind of take. So for most of those, you need to be 18 years old. You need to have a driving record about 2 to 3 years. And so that is something that a high school senior can qualify for. So that's how we can kind of get people in right at the beginning of their career. We found it's a bit challenging sometimes to reach high school students who are seriously considering what they want to do after high school or after college. We'll talk to like high school freshmen and they're not even thinking 3, 4 years out. So we want to try and target like high school seniors and juniors who are starting to think about their future and who we can kind of get in as interns over the next couple of years. Next slide, please. So this is kind of an overview of how that internship program works. So the goal is basically to expose high school students and graduates to what it's like to work at TriMet as a maintenance employee. So they come in for 10 weeks over the summer. Theoretically, they graduate high school, and then we have them start here right after that. So they are doing it for about 10 weeks. And for now, what we've been doing is having 2 full days per week. So they're working about 16 hours a week, and they get the experience of what a full-time shift looks like, clocking in the morning and then clocking out, because for a lot of students, it's the first time kind of having a job like that. One kind of caveat that we, have to try and work around is that all of our maintenance positions are part of the ATU, which is the union that we work with. And so that means that our interns, because they're not union employees, they can't actually do the work. So we can't have an intern come in and actually get their hands in the engine of a bus or turn a wrench on a light rail vehicle. So that has been a bit of a challenge, but what we've done is we can get interns in and they can actually stand there and watch and ask questions and really get a closer view of what that work looks like. So ideally, our interns would complete that internship and then kind of when fall rolls around, they would get hired as a service worker. And that's our entry-level maintenance role. And they kind of do like light maintenance work on our buses and light rail vehicles. They would spend about 2 to 3 years as a service worker, and then they would qualify for our apprenticeship programs, which then you do that for a couple of years, go through your training, and then you're ready to start in our kind of specialized or like very technical maintenance positions. So that would come with higher salaries, it gets them full benefits, and that kind of sets them up to start earning, 5, 6 figures just a couple of years out of high school, which is great. It creates that kind of talent pipeline for those skilled maintenance positions, which are often difficult to fill. And so this is a way to kind of get a younger generation in, start building up our workforce early on so they can then take on those roles. Next slide, please. So this is our first year doing the high school internship. We've had about a pilot program. So we have had one intern this year. His name is Devin, and he's been here for a couple weeks. He's been working his 2 shifts per week, so his 16 hours. Sounds like it's been going well. He's been assigned to a mentor. So one of our assistant managers in our bus maintenance department has been meeting with Devin. They have kind of daily check-ins. Devin's able to get his questions answered. He's been able to take various tours and kind of see what it's like at TriMet, visit our different locations. And he's asking questions. He's just getting the experience of what it's like to work at TriMet, but then also what it's like to have just a grown-up job, to work a full 8-hour shift a day just to see what that's like. So he's getting a really good combination of kind of the technical maintenance skills and then also professional workplace skills that he'll just take anywhere kind of after TriMet. So hopefully we'll have him roll into a service worker position and then we can kind of get him started on his TriMet journey. Next slide, please. So kind of like I mentioned at the start, this is a full year effort to get interns in. So we visit our high schools and we just are talking to students, trying to get them in, and hopefully we'll let them get them started as interns. And next slide, over to Emily.
All right, with sharing my screen, I can't see the timer, so if we run out of time, feel free to just cut me off.
For sure, yeah.
But okay, moving into the next steps of what it could look like after an internship, we're going to introduce TriMet's training tuition payment, also known as TTP program. So the training tuition payment, again, also known as TTP program, is an option for entry-level internal employees seeking to gain skills and knowledge in specifically our maintenance department. We have courses that are geared towards service workers who would like to move up within the agency, although all union employees are welcome to apply. After joining TriMet, you can apply to the TTP program and get hands-on training or free college credits from Portland Community College, also known as PCC, and develop essential maintenance skills to set yourself up with success. It does begin with 3 PCC classes, Intro to Automotive Systems, Intro to Electricity and Circuits, and Intro to Industrial Maintenance. First, you join TriMet in any entry-level union role, and then you can apply to the TTP program and join and complete in about 9 months. Interested future applicants are encouraged to look for articles which are distributed and various methods. At TriMet, we have an internal organizational newsletter that we share, and we have various methods to distribute so that way we can get the info out to all TriMet employees. The TTP program requires interested applicants to complete a few initial steps before applying to the program. So first is to contact Portland Community College, again, also known as PCC, and enroll a student, obtain a student ID number, check placements in math, writing, and reading by emailing a PCC advisor who we at TriMet partner with. And finally, email the TTP program team a completed PDF application with all of the requested information. So we're really putting an emphasis on career path planning and laying out a pathway for folks here. After completing the TTP program, you can apply to an internal trainee program to dive deeper into your trade. And then from there, launch your career in maintenance by applying to an internal trainee program. We have a bus mechanic apprenticeship, facilities maintenance training, LRV, also known as light rail vehicle technician training, and several positions in our maintenance of way department, so overhead power, signal substation, and track training.
You have 2 minutes left.
Diving into our apprenticeship opportunities. So first one, our bus mechanic apprenticeship. During this 2-year apprenticeship, we'll work on every part of the bus. We'll work with qualified journey level mechanics to gain hands-on knowledge. That's 2,000 on-the-job training hours. Our training department will also take you through 14 classes designed to give you knowledge of bus systems. At the end of this apprenticeship, you will have all the information and experience you need to perform preventative maintenance, troubleshooting, modifications, and repairs to our fleet. For our light rail vehicle LRV technician training program, this is a 3-year training program that includes working at all TriMet light rail garages and performing all aspects of an LRV tech's job, for overhaul, running repair, parts chambers. 50% is in class, 50% is on the car, and on-the-job training includes one-on-one instruction with LRV techs performing actual job duties. After completion of the LRV training program, you will be a certified light rail vehicle technician. You get to work on the latest, most advanced Siemens light rail vehicles, and the LRV techs work on every aspect of a light rail vehicle. So laying out the maintenance journey that Eleanor had described earlier as interim structured work experience. Through our TTP program, we offer skill development as an apprentice or trainee. There's paid hands-on training, and finally, full certification. We offer more competitive pay and benefits. So a closer look at what that competitive pay can look like as a service worker. Annualized salary is about $47,000 a year, with growth opportunity up to nearly $70,000, and it increases with each position, and finally, as a top tier mechanic, more than $100,000 to start in 2027. With career progression, whether you start as an intern or get a post-graduation employment opportunity, you have an entry-level position as a service worker. And there are talks of proposing lowering the golden age requirement from 3 years to 2 years. So hypothetically, if you got your license at the age of 16, you could start at TriMet in an entry-level position at the age of 18 versus 19. And from there, transition into TTP, then an apprenticeship or a training program with the goal to become a TriMet journey person.
All right. It looks like your guys' 15 minutes has gone up. Thank you so much, Team TriMet, for your guys' pitch presentation. You can end your screen share, and the next 15 minutes is going to be the Q&A session with the National Judges Board. So I'm actually going to pass it over to the chair, Mr. Leslie Rogers. And right, once you guys get started with this, I will hit the timer once again, and you guys have 15 minutes for your Q&A session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isaiah, and good morning. And thank you to the TriMet team. Congratulations on your presentation. We are so happy to have you join us on this Sunday morning. I'm on the West Coast also, as is Justin and Jose. You've heard about the judge's background. I initially want to thank them for their diligent review of this and all presentations. They bring a sense of fairness and impartiality to our task today. We'll start with Jose Ramirez from LA Metro. Jose's been a bit under the weather, but we're so happy to have him join us, but he's offline. But with that, Why don't you raise the first question, Jose?
Thank you so much, Leslie. And actually, I just wanted to go ahead and commend you ladies on your presentation. It was a fantastic, very well put together presentation that actually hit home a lot for me because I actually started my career in high volume recruitment, also dealing with the LA Metro's internship program. So yes, I definitely hear all of the things that you guys were talking about. And additionally, I feel like with everything that we have coming to us as a country, the World Cup, the 2028 Olympics, this is majorly needed, and it's a very good way to help our workforce. So I guess that was just some of the things that and additionally, I also love the fact that you guys are dealing with high school students, and I do know the LA Metro has actually put together, is doing a little bit of the same. We're working with high school students, trying to expose them to careers in transportation. Very quickly, I just wanted to ask, did you have you guys look, so I understand that you guys are trying to deal with high school students transitioning into ATU positions. Have you guys ever thought of creating some sort of like a mentorship program while they're still in high school, where they have the opportunity to come in and kind of maybe get a little bit more exposed to the position and see what it entails, and then potentially have the opportunity to connect with a subject matter expert just to gain some more insight, so they are making better prepared decisions for their future? So is that something that you guys have thought of?
I can take this, then anyone can chime in if they want. We haven't really had kind of a formal set program for that kind of thing you're talking about. We do tend to do one-off tours. So I know we've had several classes of high schoolers come in just sort of as field trips, and they will take a tour around the maintenance garage, and then they get to see like the bus yard. And then I know I was part of one of those tours several years ago. And Jose, I don't know if you have something similar at LA, but we've got a bus simulator, which is how our operators, when they're kind of going through training, learning how to drive the bus, they get to sit in this room that's got screens like on all three sides, and they've built out the front of a bus. And so you get to kind of experience what it's like to drive a bus down the street. And so we got to have the high schoolers come in and like all take turns driving the bus. And then I got to do that too, which was super cool because I've never driven a bus before. So we have kind of one-off stuff like that. But we haven't really kind of set up a program. It tends to be, someone will reach out to us, say, hey, can we have our high schoolers tour? And then we, set up a day for them to kind of come in, and they ask questions, get to see what the garage looks like, get to take a tour and stuff. But it's definitely something we've been doing, and it's always, I don't know, I think it's really fun to get to see them. And a lot of them, they're riders, and so they get to see kind of the front end, what it's like as a rider, just coming on and tapping your card, riding on the bus. But it's the first time for them seeing the back end and seeing kind of the behind the scenes of how that all works.
Awesome. Well, I just wanted to go ahead and commend you all for your work and continue the great work that you are doing. And again, I think this is very timely with everything that we have coming to us as a country. So kudos and thumbs up.
Thank you, Jose. Let me remind the judges and the TriMet team members that the questions and responses should be as concise as possible, such that we can maximize our time here and allow for additional questions if possible. So with that said, I'll next turn to my colleague from the East Bay here in the Bay Area, Justin Augustine from AC Transit. Justin? And I think you're muted. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Great presentation. I think it's a great concept, much needed. My question, I was looking at it when you guys talk about some soft skills courses, like what does that include? Like the soft skills training. I know you guys are working with the maintenance team, and there's the training for maintenance, but could you elaborate a little bit on like soft skills, if there's some type of incorporation of that?
I can chime in, Eleanor. So some of the one-on-one sessions that have been with Devin, with the high school intern and the assistant manager, have been like how to use Outlook, how to compose an email, how do you schedule appointments with managers, with other mentors, how do you reach out if you want an informational interview? And then there are some other questions where someone who is in high school may not feel as comfortable asking, like, how do I dress for work if I'm going to be working on the maintenance floor, if I'm going to be surrounded by people in their maintenance uniforms? How am I supposed to dress? and just also present in a professional manner. So those are some of the more like quote unquote soft skills that we're talking about.
Thank you. That explains that. And before I pass it along, how did you guys decide to just say, okay, we're gonna do this training, this thing? How did you decide the department that you wanted to start with? Like, why did it have to be maintenance? Could it have been like accounting or something like that?
I can take that one. Well, you know, it was really difficult at some point to recruit for specialized maintenance. You know, there's only so many bus mechanics, diesel mechanics, and some other very specialized maintenance roles that we were trying to fill. And we realized that it was really hard to source for those, and you know, reaching out to different areas in the country to try to get people to come over to Oregon was also difficult. So we saw that there was a gap there where the younger generation maybe wasn't aware of these positions and these roles, didn't have interest in learning more. And I just thought, well, our team thought that exposure would be a great way to get these younger folks thinking about, you know, these roles and positions for the future, and, you know, making it easier as an agency as well in the future to get more people in these spots and these positions.
Thank you. We'll next turn to Grace for her question. I think
Oh,
you're
you're on
muted.
mute right now. Sorry.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'll echo what the other judges have said. I think this is a very important topic. I stumbled into transit in a way, and so I think outreach at high school level is really important. So my question is kind of how will this outreach sort of hit the humanizing aspect of it? So what I mean there is talking about you know, at TriMet what the job does for the region and the value of public service. You know, equity components, how will it kind of, you've laid out the pipeline to apprenticeship, internship, but how will you kind of touch on that other side of it?
Oh,
Go
I can
ahead,
go
Ellie.
ahead. I'll go ahead, and then Emily, if you want to add on, you can. One of the nice things we found is that because TriMet is the public transportation for the metro area, not just Portland, but our kind of surrounding area, everyone takes it. And so all of our students know what it's like to have that experience, taking the bus, taking the train. It's something that a lot of them rely on to get to school. And so everyone kind of knows how important it is just to keep that running. And so by getting them in and exposing them to the behind the scenes and what that looks like, they're then able to see, okay, this is what it takes to kind of keep that system running. And this is what we need in order to just keep everything kind of on time, keep service frequent, make sure we're getting people where they need to go.
And
Thank you.
Okay.
For the sake of time, let's move on, and we'll next turn to Dr. Scobie. Jamal, take it away.
Okay, real quick here. So workforce development, great topic, hot topic in the industry. Kind of heavy focus here on attracting for folks into the operations arena. Operations is the backbone of transit agencies. Can you kind of elaborate on how the program, you can sell it to where people in operations can graduate into more manager roles, such as a superintendent, or go outside the department to be managers of service planning, marketing, and a lot of persons who start in operations end up being like the CEO and GMs of transit agencies. Can you kind of like talk about how your program can funnel that kind of career trajectory?
I can take this. So our presentation, we were under the impression that we had 45 minutes. So we were actually going to talk about that as well. And Gabby's section was going to share more about that. Other career opportunities that we have at TriMet. And we really highlighted this maintenance pathway just because we understand the necessity for it and the urgency for it. So we've highlighted that to also give it exposure to high schoolers, but we're aware of the other fruitful career paths that we have, and we were planning to share some of those pathways. They just aren't as specifically laid out as this pathway is in our maintenance department.
Great. Thank you. I had a question, I guess. So to elaborate on some of the other concerns that the potential for the program to be expanded beyond the maintenance function, readily that stuff that jumps to my mind are, positions involving social media, communications and marketing, where young people have graphic design skills that may be important to the agency. But I guess my question is, if I understood correctly, this is largely an in-person presentation in which you'd engage the high school students. Is that correct? And if so, are there other platforms or opportunities beyond in-person presentations that you might consider?
Yeah, I can take this one. So yeah, beyond in-person presentations, as the beginning phase, I think that reaching out to our younger folks, maybe through social media, would be great. And we have talked about maintenance being like the stepping stone of this program, and then maybe moving it up to other areas like marketing and engineering, giving people the opportunity to be in person to experience those firsthand. But we were just using maintenance as kind of our stepping stone and our kind of trial run here to see how it goes and where we can work on developing those other areas as well.
One quick question: how many positions would be typically available in the internship program?
So typically we do have a different internship program for those doing like master's and postgraduate and undergrad as well. And for those, usually it's based on department. If the department has the budget to have that intern in their department, and if they have the work available as well.
Great. We have about 2 minutes left. Any further questions from our judges at all? Don't be shy. Jose, Justin, Grace, Jamal.
No pressure.
Okay, not hearing any further questions, I won't belabor the point. I think we'll conclude here. And again, thank you for your presentation. We're happy to have you join us today. And as we conclude, why don't you take about 2 to 3 minutes to give us your closing remarks. If you want to extend shout outs to anybody or whatever you'd elect to wrap it up with. Take it away.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to our mentor who couldn't be here today. Her name is Daisy Leon. She was the one who helped us and guided us through submitting all of the necessary things we need for the competition. Also, shout out to Isaiah for helping us out. It was a big help throughout the process, getting all of our tech stuff up and going. So big shout out, and also shout out to all the judges and of course all the team members. But just to wrap it up, I want to give everybody a big thanks for listening to our presentation. It was definitely an opportunity to kind of look within our agency and see where we could expand where there was need. The future of transit is more than moving people. It's about moving communities forward together. So we appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other comments from the team? Okay. Proceeding right along, we'll turn to Dr. Scott to do a wrap.
I just want to add my thank you to you all for the presentation. You identified a topic that is one that is critical across public transportation in North America, and you're connecting this whole thing of the gap when you come into, once if you don't do bridging, that I can tell you one thing quite candidly, we found with this program, because we pivoted to really focus on 18 to 25-year-olds because of the criticality on the front line of just staggering vacancies across the industry. And one of the biggest takeaways that we've had of 3 years is the fact that you have to do it a different way, because if you're not connected with that group who are not college bound or whatever, once they've left and they're now out there, okay, most of the many agencies have relationships, if you will, where it's a high school program or it's a middle school program, but very few, if you weren't in college or college bound or technical institute or whatever, that's where the very fragile institutional relationships. Okay. And so the work that you're doing to help to address that, okay, I know it's baby steps, okay, quite candidly has been a major finding of the work that we've been doing on this end, that you have to make the pipeline, and that pipeline has to start sooner, okay, to really be resilient and get to the individual who are actually the vast majority who are not in fact going directly college bound or that kind of traditional path for career and technical education. So thank you very much for the work that you brought here. Thank you. So we'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday, okay, and very excited. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, TriMet team. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Judges, we will see you in a little bit. This is your lunch break. But yes, Team TriMet, we will see you next Thursday at the award ceremony / program recognition. So thank you so much, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one.